Okay kids, so here are the materials I'm going to be using for today's project, my project, and I'm going to explain a little bit about interfacing. I have a really basic tank top, snips, my rainbow sequins, and some different kinds of interfacing. I'm also going to be using both my sewing machine and my serger. I'm going to assume that most of you don't own an industrial sewing machine or a serger, so I will explain what those are, how they help, and also how you can get around that and how you can still do it with your little domestic. First step is to prep my tank top because I want to bead my rainbow right across here, and I want to be able to lay this out flat, and I'm going to interface it so that I can get through the stretch. So the first thing I'm going to do is open this up so that I can have a flat surface. So I'm just going to unpick my seam here. Okay, so we've opened up one whole side of our tank top here. I have this little like bra lining thing inside. I'll be honest, it's easier if you do not have that, but I'm gonna work with it anyway. So the next thing for me to do is to mark out where I want my rainbow. I'm gonna pin this so that I can see where my lines are so I can correspond on the back. Boom. All right, now it's time to talk about interfacing. Okay, so I know that some of you are in school and your instructors may not agree with me, and that's okay. You're free to ignore me. I've worked in the industry for a really long time, and my personal experience is that what you learn in the industry and what you actually use in the industry is drastically different from what you're taught in school. I don't know if that's by design, but in any case, for me, I've used all of these different kinds of interfacing at different points, but since I've started my professional career, I've only used one of them. This is horsehair, and this is not fusible. It comes in fusible, but generally this would be used for suiting coats and jackets and like really tailored things. And you apply this to things like lapels and stuff using pad stitching. My guess is that none of you are ever gonna need that. This is cotton woven sew-in. I used this for a really long time because I found that this stuff sucked. It comes apart really easily. This is like the basic kind of papery fusible stuff, and this is the easiest to use, but also it's kind of garbage, and if you wash something, sometimes it pulls off of the thing that you're using. My personal opinion is that this stuff is garbage, and this stuff sucks because it's sew-in, and sometimes it shrinks, and I just kind of hate it. The only stuff I use ever, and keep in mind, this is for this t-shirt project, but also making couture wedding gowns. This is the stuff that I use. It's a knit, it's got a little bit of stretch to it, it's fusible, it gives a good weight to whatever fabric you're using to interface, and I'm not joking, like I'm using it for this t-shirt project, but I also use this for like the bodices of wedding gowns. So you can get this at Fabricland, you can get this from Adam's Sewing and Leather Store in Spadina. I'll include a few places that you can look for this. Tricot, I'll include the spelling for you guys, but this is all you're ever gonna need, really, in my opinion. So I'm going to cut what I need here. For some reason my camera didn't record when I did this the first time. So what I did was turn this inside out, and you're gonna wanna try to get it onto the smoothest surface possible. Which is why, I mean, I wanted to do this demonstration on pre-made clothing because I know a lot of you don't sew. So putting your beading and stuff on pre-made clothing is gonna be the easiest. This still requires a small amount of sewing, but like the easiest amount. You're just going to be basically sewing that side up that we unpicked. You always want to, when you're using this tricot stuff, use a press cloth. I use some cotton muslin that's left over from my pattern making. Cotton has really high heat tolerance. I'm going to press this from both sides, and if the iron actually touches this, it can stick to it, which is really annoying. And you don't want to gum up the face plate of your iron. So always use a press cloth. Okay, now that I've done it on one side, I'm going to turn it inside out and do it from the other side. And the way that you tell, especially for this project, because we're going to be beading on stretch, you want to make sure that your interfacing is well applied. So just go around the edges. Oh, see, I got a loose spot right there. You want to go around the edges and make sure that you're fully applied the whole way around. It's a bit at the top that I'm not applied, and it's because the seam of the back of the tank top is in my way. That's okay. You can get creative in a situation like this. Press ham will help. Just to get those spots that go. All right. Fully applied. Now I have the very fun challenge of hooping this up. That's going to be super fun with that little bra thing in the back. Okay, so I've successfully hooped up my t-shirt, my tank top, and I've got a decent amount of tension. So now I'm going to put my rainbow on. Okie doke. So this is my giveaway prize, rainbow, and here's my tank top rainbow, ready to come out of the frame. There we go. Yeah. There we go. I'm very happy with this. Now, next part, I'm going to show you how to sew this back up again. And I'll show you how I do it, but I'll also show you how you can do it if you don't have the specialized machines that I have. This is my domestic serger. Even though I work in a professional capacity, I don't serge very many things. It doesn't come into play very often with my bridal work. The only thing I would really ever use it for is hems. Sergers are usually used with jersey fabric like we're working with today. So yeah, for me, definitely just having a domestic is totally fine. And this old workhorse, this is my industrial singer. Pretty sure she's older than I am. I've had her for 20 years. She works brilliantly. So I'm gonna sew up the side of my tank top with this and then interlock it with the serger. However, there's a way that you can do this with domestic. Boom! Obviously I'll press that out, but my shirt is done. I'm excited. Okay, so to do this with your domestic, I'm going to demonstrate with not black fabric so you can actually see what I'm doing. Here's my quick demo of how to finish a jersey edge with domestic. Okay, so first we do our straight stitch. Okay, and then you can trim a bit closer if you want. All right, and then use your widest zigzag stitch and go really close to your straight stitch line. It doesn't look, oh, especially on this. It doesn't look quite as neat as having an actual serger, but before I owned a serger, that is how I finished the insides of my jersey things, and no one complained about it. Again, when you use a thread that matches your fabric, and your jersey fabric will have a little bit more hand to it, so it'll look a little bit better. But it gets the job done. Or you can just not finish your edges and just use a straight stitch, because honestly, it doesn't really make that much difference. Kind of depends on what you're using it for. Anyway, those are my tips for my Pride tank top. Love you guys. Hope you're having a great weekend. Bye.